Hello, everybody. So I'm at my daughter's apartment, and she's been here for 2 months. And along these fences, they got really pretty bushes, but they don't trim them. And up on the building, they don't trim them. Or at least, I'm sorry, they don't trim them enough. I'm sorry. I went over to the manager's office yesterday because I know one of the ladies that work in there. And I asked him, how often do y'all trim the bushes? Because they're really getting scraggly by the apartments. And she made this comment. I believe they've cut them this year. I said, wait a minute. They only cut them once a year? She goes, I'm not sure. And that's their answer to everything. My daughter still has a spot in her bathroom where they patched the ceiling because evidently the apartment above her had a leak. So they fixed her leak and patched the ceiling. But that's it. They patched it. They put a new piece of sheetrock in. They taped around it. Threw a little bit of stucco over it. Didn't even cover the tape. So part of the tape is sticking out a little bit. And that's it. They didn't come back in and paint it. They didn't come back in and sand it. They didn't come back in and put the popcorn on the ceiling, which I hate popcorn anyway. So I asked one of the maintenance guys, when are they going to finish the ceiling? The maintenance guy's excuse was, we loaned out our popcorn machine that does the ceilings to one of our other apartment complexes, and they haven't brought it back yet. I said, oh, okay. Do you know when you get it back? No, hopefully pretty soon, because we've got a couple places that we need to fix. I said, wow. I said, okay. So waited a week, and I asked the young kid again. I spotted him. I said, hey, when are you going to fix this girl's bathroom ceiling? I said, it's ugly. And he said, oh, we loaned out our popcorn machine. We haven't got it back yet. I said, okay, it's been 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks since you told me you loaned it to them. Are they doing the whole apartment complex or what? He started laughing. He goes, I don't know. I said, well, I'll tell you what. You go right over here to Home Depot, which is right over, let's see. Home Depot is, anyway, not too far. You go out here, you go around the corner, and it's like right there. Right over there. So I told him, I said, you go buy a can of that popcorn stuff, and you can spray the ceiling. Well, I'll have to ask my boss. Now, this light post right here, it was working when she moved in, but the next day it stopped. So I asked them, when are they going to change the light bulb out here? Because this lights up the parking lot. He said, oh, we've got to replace this light bulb and this light bulb. So we'll be over there to replace that one when we replace these two. I said, okay. Well, they came over and they replaced those two, but they didn't replace this one. So I asked the maintenance guy one day, one of the younger ones, hey, when are you guys going to replace this light bulb? He said, oh, we don't do that light. City Water and Light comes out and changes that. I said, oh, well, can you put in a request for City Water and Light to come out and change it? Because it's dead and it's kind of dark over here. Oh, yeah, no problem. So City Water and Light came over to this building over here to cut off somebody's power, I guess. And I asked the guy, because they've got one over there too. I said, hey, do you guys change those light bulbs? He said, no, we don't touch these. We touch the ones that are up there. He said, we do not touch these. This is on your guys' property. That's their maintenance. I said, oh, okay. So I seen a maintenance guy the next day, and I said, hey, when are you going to change that light bulb? He said, oh, I think City Water and Lights does that. I said, no. Now, this was a different maintenance man. I said, no. I asked City Water and Lights, and they told me no, that these lights up here, where's it at? Right there, belong to the apartment complex, and that's maintenance job. I said, oh. He said, oh, well, I have to talk to the boss. I said, okay. So that was 2 weeks ago. My daughter has been here 2 months. And everything that they've said they were going to do, they have not done. And it kind of bothers me because to me it shows they either have poor management or they have the laziest maintenance crew I've ever seen in my life. I've managed apartment buildings before, and you may wait a day to get a light bulb changed, but that's about it. And these bushes out here that line these fences would not look as scraggly as they are. Plus they have these ponds. And this is a whole different story. Now over there is the maintenance building. The main boss lives there. He's got one of these ponds over in front of his building, and it's got a little fountain in it. It's pretty. They got one over by the manager's office too. It's pretty. But this one, all I can think of is mosquito breeding water, because they don't have the little fountain in it like they do over there. And it looks yucky. I mean, it looks yucky. You can see a film. I guess you can't see it. I don't know if you can see it down there at the other end of the pond. It might be too bright. But anyway, there's like a film on it. And it's just disgusting. Now, I guess they're going to let this dry up. I haven't asked because I'd probably get an answer of, I don't know, which is what the maintenance people around here claim. They don't know anything. But then you have some tenants that are kind of piggy. Like there's a Cheeto bag down there. And I don't know. I don't understand why they don't have the little fountain in here. You know, unless people complained about the noise or something. But anyway, back to the bushes. So like I said, I went and talked to the lady that I knew. So I told her, because she knows how my yard is. She knows I trim my bushes. You know, everything looks manicured and it's nice. And that's what caught our eye about this apartment complex, because when we came over here to rent my daughter an apartment, everything was manicured. You know, the bushes looked nice. They were nicely cut, nicely trimmed. So I told her yesterday, look, these bushes look terrible in front of these apartments. And they said, well, I think they cut them. You know, that was their excuse. I think they cut them this year already. Well, that wasn't good enough for me. So these two bushes are pretty much what they all look like. They're all scraggly, all grown out. So yesterday, I started trimming these bushes. These 3 I've trimmed, and I will do these 2 tomorrow. And the people that live on that side of the building cut their own damn bushes. I cut the middle one, and then I cut these 2. You can see how scraggly they look. The one right there was so overgrown that it stretched over into that walkway. Oops, that one over there. Where people actually had to move the bushes to walk through. That's how bad that one was. It also grew up onto the 2nd floor, and people were walking through the branches up there. So I cut it. And I cut these 2. And tomorrow I will cut these. Now, I'm not sure, because this is her apartment right here. And I'm not sure if I'm going to do this corner one. I might. Yeah, I probably will. But anyway, if you work in apartment management and a tenant asks you a question, please know an answer. And if you don't, get back to them that day with an answer. Because this kind of crap is ridiculous. Now, the girl upstairs, I started talking to her, and she said 3 times her hot water heater went out. Now, when her hot water heater went out, the 3rd time, it was Friday night. She called the maintenance people, and they told her, we're just going to have to replace your hot water heater. We'll be over there Monday, because the place that we get hot water heaters is not open on the weekends. It's like, wow. So she had to go to a friend's house to take a shower. I offered her to use my daughter's, but she said no, it was okay. She'd go over to her friend's house, no big deal. I said, okay. Well, Monday when they came over, the boss came over with the maintenance guy. And when the maintenance guy worked on her hot water heater the night before, Thursday night, he got it all hooked up and everything, but he didn't hit the reset button. Evidently, there's a reset button on a hot water heater. So the boss came in, looked at the hot water heater, pushed the reset button. He goes, there you go. You'll have hot water in an hour. She goes, wait a minute. I went without hot water for the whole weekend, and you're telling me that you just needed to push a reset button and you guys couldn't come over here Friday and check this out? No, because if the hot water heater was bad, we'd have to replace it. We wasn't going to be able to do it until Monday. She said, but the hot water heater wasn't bad. All you did was push the reset button. Why couldn't you come over Friday and do that? Well, it was after hours, and I don't work after hours. My young crew does, and they don't know how to do that. Wow. Now, are these excuses, or, I mean, am I being picky, or is this just ridiculous? Now, my son and daughter live on the other side of the apartments, and still belong to the same company, but they're way over there. And their refrigerator went out on them Friday night. Again, they would not do anything because their excuse, the place that they get refrigerators is not open on the weekend, so we'll have to wait until Monday. Now, I've seen at least 5 or 6 empty apartments in this place. Now, you're telling me you want me to go a whole weekend where I have to inconvenience somebody else and put my meat in somebody else's freezer, and you can't go to one of these empty apartments and snatch the damn refrigerator out of it and then replace it on Monday when the store opens, so I don't have to go without a refrigerator all weekend? No. We need to put a new one in there, so you're just going to have to wait till Monday. And, of course, they didn't show up until 3 or 4 o'clock Monday afternoon, which is kind of crazy to me. But I'm sorry, if I was management over this apartment, the maintenance boss would be fired, and the crew would go through training, proper training of how to install a hot water heater, how to install the washer and dryer, how to install the refrigerator, and they could practice on these empty apartments and how to patch holes and paint and all that stuff. So I don't know, it's kind of crazy. I mean, people are getting that freaking lazy. I mean, the maintenance guy gets free rent. which, by the way, there is a pool behind the maintenance building, and that is the only pool. There's 3 pools here, but the pool behind the maintenance office is the only pool that is green. Stains on the bottom of it. Nobody likes to go into it because it's dirty. Now, is that a coincidence that maybe because the maintenance man lives in that building, he doesn't want nobody in the pool, so he sabotages it so he doesn't have to deal with listening to people back there? I don't know, people. What do you think? Anyway, if you're part of a maintenance crew, please don't be lazy. Get your job done. Do what you're supposed to do. And if you own an apartment complex, don't let your bushes get all scraggly. Look, I get broken branches laying over there from the storm yesterday. Now, the maintenance guy comes through here, this parking lot, every morning to pick up trash if there's any trash. He comes all the way into the driveway, comes down here, turns around, and goes back out, looking for trash. How is that not noticeable? You know? Get off your buggy, look around. You know, I'm sitting here and I see a plastic cup way up there. Way up there. You know, that somebody has just tossed over that fence. And it's like, you know, people are lazy. Pick up after yourselves. Don't throw trash down in the water. Don't throw cups over the fence on property that doesn't belong here. You know, and maintenance people, pick up the damn branches that are broken off. And trim your bushes. I shouldn't have to come over here and trim my daughter's bushes. But it looks nasty, so I guess I'm kind of picky. But anyway, that's just a rant. Maintenance crew rant. And hopefully a maintenance crew is out there listening to me. And they take better care of their apartments than what this place does. And, you know, take pride in where you live. Maintenance people live here. You know, people live here. If you drop something on the ground, pick it up. If you're a maintenance man, do the right job. That's like, oh, that's another thing. Over here, there is, remember the little squirrel? Well, they replaced this one. They replaced it because that's where there was a squirrel going in between the 2 floors and terrorizing everybody. Well, they came out and replaced it, and the squirrel has chewed through it again, and now he gets in there and in between the apartments again. And it's like, you know he chews through it, so why would you put something plastic over it? Why can't you put some metal over it? And there's another thing that the maintenance doesn't check. Now, I think these vents are for dryers on this wall, because, whew, can you see in that second one right there? That thing is totally clogged. And that's got to be a fire hazard. I just don't know what those pipes go to. I'm thinking dryer, but I'm not sure. Because that looks like fuzz from a dryer. Kind of crazy, right? Anyway. Anyway, that's it for a rant. I'll talk to you guys later. And again, if you're part of a maintenance crew, take good care of your apartment so people will stay there. You know, if they have a problem, come help them out. You know, or lower their rent so they can take care of it themselves. Because I could go in there and patch that ceiling and knock it out in probably 20 minutes. And that includes sanding, re-plastering because they did a crappy job, and paint it and put the popcorn back on it. Oh, there's a fire truck coming. I hope that's not a copyright strike. Anyway, y'all take care. Love y'all. Bye.